Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I am, but I just got wet again. I think it's just a quick short sharp shower so we can get out in a second. But yes, today I'm sharing with you my weekly shop and my meal plan for the rest of the week. So I'm on my way to the shops. I'm doing a few errands at the same time. So now I'm just going to, I think this rain is going to pass very quickly. Part of this little round trip was parcels, post office, allotment, Lidl, home, weekly menu plan. Yay! So my M&S returns label arrived. Woohoo! So last night I made up my parcel, stuck it all together, went just now to the parcel shop for them to take it from me, and the label, it's got like a barcode, they scan it. It didn't work. So, oh my god, it's M&S Saga Part 5. They've printed the label on an entire sheet of A4, so it's massive. And this is what the guy in the shop was saying. He said because they've printed it so big, on the barcode the lines are really fat and blurry. The scanner can't read it. I mean, bless him, he tried and he tried and he tried. He turned it through every angle, turned it around, upside. It just would not scan. So the parcel shop is up the hill. So I came back down the hill for the post office, passing my own flat on the way. So I've just posted it to myself. I'll deal with it when I get home later. I've just shoved it through my letterbox. Gone to the post office. Walking down here, just feeling just really grumpy and thwarted by this whole blimmin' shopping experience. Honest Injun. But, oh my goodness, I just had a little cheer up and I wanted to share it with you because it's so cute. So one of the little side streets I walked down, hello little Rosie. Rosie's come to say hello. Yeah, the side street that I walked down to get here, it's actually one of my friends' houses, and I know that they're having their front garden, I was going to say restored, it's not quite restored, refurbished. They're having a beautiful tile path from the street to the front door, sort of to replicate what would have been there when the house was built, the Minton tile path. So when they bought the property, that path had already gone, and it was a kind of nasty 1970s crazy paving path, and they've been saving and saving. Anyway, they're finally getting this path laid and doing some other hard landscaping in there. It's only a little front garden, not much bigger than my shed. Hello little Rosiekins, come and have a cuddle and say, don't jump up there, it's full of squash. All the squash are on the daybed still. Anyway, so as I was approaching, I could hear the radio and it was playing a Queen tune, and I love Queen. It was playing Don't Stop Me Now, travelling at the speed of light, whatever it is. So of course, I immediately start singing. It's Queen, it's catchy, you can't help yourself, can you? But I was singing a bit louder than I realised, because as I approached, the two builders popped up, sort of grinning at me, and I said, you can't help but join in, can you? So they started singing and I carried on walking to the allotment, singing at the top of my voice. They were singing as well. Sweet. And then just before I've come into the allotment, there's a bit of a brick wall in the public park, and one of my fellow plotters is out there with his barrow and rake, because it's where all the leaves blow. Not just from this year, but years and years. So he's out there, he's just gone to get his shovel as well. He's raking up leaves. Obviously this year's haven't disintegrated yet, but as he's raking them off, there's years and years of leaf mulch. Good on him. I was thinking, I should join him. I haven't got time today. Anyway, so yeah, that's put a smile back on my face. Bar humbug to the M&S saga. Never mind. I've had a bit of a sing-song on my way down, and now, let's see if we can do some shopping in the garden. If it spots with rain, I'll just do it and then show you later. But I I keep forgetting that I do have a handful of carrots, and I was working out my meal plan the other day and what I will have to buy to add to my own stores. And I wrote down carrots to buy, and I suddenly thought, no, I've got those 4 or 5 in the bed, haven't I? So should we go and pull them out and see if they're any good? They might not be. It doesn't matter, because after this I will then go to Lidl. I've done it that way round on purpose so that I know if my carrots are useless, I'll buy some from Lidl. But for now, let's and I'll get my little a trowel. Let's go and have a dig for buried treasure. Arr. Just before I start my shopping, oh my goodness, aren't these blueberries the most beautiful sight in their autumn colour? Could they be any more red? Oh, that's my little nod to Matthew Perry. I mean, look at that, it's gorgeous. Oh my goodness, look, this one's trying to shoot. You're a bit early, wait till next year. Yeah, they need a bit of a prune. I need to remember this spring to do. Actually, just that colour combination, the blue of the ceramics and the red of the blueberry, that's gorgeous. Right, stop being distracted. We need to get some food sorted. I think I just have to start with this one, don't I? Let's see if we can do that. Oh, I think it's all fur coat, no knickers. Oh, what a tease that was. I could see the shoulders and I thought it's going to be a whopper. Oh dear. Never mind, there's some on it. Oh, I'm going to naught and step on the bed a bit. Oh. Let's see if this one is any better. Oh, actually, I think I used up some leftover seeds. I think these were Nant, which I think they come up stumpier, don't they? The thing is, the way I'm going to be using these carrots is, I've had a bit of damage, is for flavour. So it doesn't matter what... Oh, these two look like they've been nibbled. Yeah, properly. They were properly noshed. It doesn't really matter what these ones look like, because, oh, I'm just going to pick them up to show. Because yeah, it's just for flavour. They'll be all chopped up. However, I'm just going to take the tops off and leave them on the bed to rot. This bed will get covered soon. This is why I've come to the plot first, because that shows me that, yes, I do need to buy some carrots from the supermarket. Look, it's like a little, I don't know, it's an elephant, it's a, I don't know. Anyway, it's not enough for my cooking this week. Right, where next? Oh, a couple of beds over. Just gathering some chard. Some of the leaves have gone over a little bit already. Oh, and I should just say as well, I'm here, sorry, the wind's blowing my hair. I'm here the day after Storm Kieran, or the 2 days we had it. And it looks like everything's okay down here. But yeah, where I probably need to do a little bit of a tidy up. Get rid of some of these older leaves. I don't want to eat the old manky stuff. Encourage it to keep throwing up more leaves. But yeah, I want a big bunch of chard today, because I'm going to do 2 recipes. So yeah, I'm being fussy what I'm picking, but then I want vibrant, vigorous, really strong, healthy leaves, because that vigour, that vibrancy, that's going to go into my body. So of course I want the best in my body. And I think maybe a few from the other patch over there. That will do from here. But also, oh, stiff bunny today. Whilst I'm in this bed, also some of the lovely Cavolo. Just a little handful from each plant. I don't want to strip it and give the plant nothing, no reserves, as it were. I love that scrunch. I think that will... No, I'll have a couple more. I was going to say, I think that will do. That's more like it. With these fresh leaves, I can always come back in another 3 or 4 days. I'll be back to do some gardening anyway, so if needs be, I'll just grab another handful. Oh, and also, while I'm here, out of your shop now, but let's just grab. Another handful of the gorgeous beetroot. Oh, and a slug on my thumb. I don't think I want to take that home. What I'll do with everything is I'm just going to take it all back to the shed to pack into the granny trolley. I will, of course, flick off the worst of the mud and just have a little double check for critters, because I don't really want to take the critters home with me. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go over to that far patch of chard and get a few more stalks, because I think I would like 10 to 12 stalks in total. Oh, it's getting dark. Hurry. Oh, just in the nick of time. It started raining again. You can't tell, can you? It's gone so dark. I'm looking at both windows. It's black out there. Anyway, good. Got my little harvest done. So, oh, they're still out on the landing, the carrots and the beetroot. And was there anything else? No, that was it, wasn't it? So for now, I've got my chard and my Cavolo. It's like a little posy. I've got them stood in some water. This isn't my kind of floral display. Although, you know what? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put this in your floral display? They're just in a bit of water for the minute because they were in I just had them in a bin bag, wrapped in a bin bag to bring home. Get them nice and damp, and then what I'll do is they'll go in I'll wrap them, bundle them into a damp tea towel, back in the bin bag, into the bottom of the fridge, just to keep them kind of fresh and perky. I won't leave them in the water though, because I don't want the soluble vitamins, A, C and D. I don't want the soluble A and C. E is fat soluble, isn't it? Anyway, vitamin C, that's the main one. I don't want those vitamins to be leached out by the water. So it's just to get them good and give them a little tiny bit of a drink, as it were, before I bundle them up, whack them in the fridge. So then I left the allotment and went to do my little shop there, and I have spent, this is my weekly shop. Oh, I should say, that's our tin of coconut milk. I just wanted to check before I went out that I got coconut milk in the cupboard. And was there anything else? I've got kidney beans in the cupboard for something, but I'm probably going to use my own beans rather than the tinned beans. So that's why that's dusty. Doesn't matter, I'm not going to eat the outside, am I? That's for the meal plan. I'll tell you about the meal plan in a minute. So this week's weekly shopping has cost me £3.84. Don't know what that is in dollars. I'll work it out and I'll put it in the title card. That's going to be about $6, but it includes a treat that cost £1.79. So best part £2. So nearly half. That's pretty much half and half, isn't it? almost half of this week's shop is on a treat. The treat is, this is Crinkle, Crinkle, Crinkle. This is from Lidl. It's their seeded rye sourdough. It's a really clean loaf in terms of the ingredients. You have to check online, but there aren't sort of all the preservatives and emulsifiers, etc., etc. It's a really, really yummy bread. I was put onto this by Richard and Paul. So that's £1.79. It's quite a lot, but as sourdough loaves go, that's about half the price of anywhere else around here. The reason I bought that is because I'm going to be having a couple of little slices with soup most days. Just bulks up that meal. Oh, it's lovely. Yum, 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 yum. So, crinkle, crinkle. I don't always buy bread. I've been buying it a bit more recently. Maybe I'm buying it once every fortnight or so. But it's just a nice treat, isn't it? So that was £1.79. Then I have bought carrots. So this is their organic carrots, and they cost 99p for, is it a kilo in there? Oh, it's 750 grams, a bit short of a kilo. I mean, I think that's not bad. So these will actually do me for the next 2 weeks. So in a way it's 50 pence for this week. But yeah, I mean, look, those ones in the garden, I mean, what a disaster. It's weird because for years and years and years I've grown absolutely wonderful carrots, stonking carrots. I've had carrots right through the winter. Autumn King, I leave them in the ground. I don't harvest them to store them. I store them in the ground. They've been fine right through till April. Never mind, 99p for a couple of weeks worth of carrots. I use carrots mostly in my soup bases. I also bought, these were 49p for the two. Whoa, big. So I've bought them loose. Great, no packaging. So 50p for the 2 spuds. And I think, where's my meal plan? Oh, it's there. These are going to get used up. I've got one in the fridge left over from a couple of weeks ago that's fine still. So these will get used up this week with the various recipes I'm doing. Now, it's quite possible. So for ages, these loose, excuse me, these loose ones that Lidl sell, they're 69p a kilo. And that, because I've checked against all the pre-packaged ones, you know, new potatoes, baked potatoes, all the different potatoes, and that was proving the most cost-effective way to buy them, to buy the loose ones. It's quite possible, and I think I was looking today, I think they're doing these big 5 kilo bags of baking potatoes, and I think it works out even more economical. So yes, that would be the more economical way for me to do it. However, 2 things. I don't think I'm going to get through 5 kilos of spuds in. So if we think about it, these 2 for a week isn't even a kilo. Would a bag last for 6 weeks? I'm never sure about shop bought veg, how long it's going to store for. But anyway, I don't know that I would use 5 kilos, but also the big thing for me is carrying it. 5 kilos, getting all the way up all these stairs. So if you're a bigger family, if you eat potatoes every day, I don't, then it's almost certainly going to be more economical to buy a big sack. But for me, this works out great, and there's no packaging. And then the last thing I bought, again, it's something I normally grow. I can't remember why I didn't grow any this year. Dumb cop. Must remember to do it next year. Celery, 57p. I use a lot of celery, again, in bases for soups, in all sorts. Celery and carrots and an onion is such a great combination as the base for so many different things. So that is my shopping haul for the week, although the carrots and the celery will do me for 2 weeks. There's my, because you have to evidence things these days, don't you? Can the camera, is it fuzzy? Can you make that out? The cost, what did I say it was? £3.84. So, what am I going to cook? Well, obviously I've got the bread because I'm going to have soup. I'm finally going to play with the chard, and the reason I got so much, it's a lot, isn't it? I'd rather bring home a bit too much and then make something else extra than bring too little home and think, God, I've got to go back to the garden. Especially with this lousy weather and my lousy knees. So I'm going to do 2 different chard soups. I'm going to do a Northern European chard soup, and I'm going to do a Southern European or Mediterranean chard soup. I'm going to do those tomorrow. When I've done a little jaunty trip like that, by the time I come home, there's no way I'm cooking. I can't stand up. It's not happening. So 2 different soups tomorrow. And yes, I'm going to video them both. I haven't tried either of them before. I'm just kind of experimenting a bit, but with that kind of theme of Northern Europe, we have different fats. Southern Europe, the Mediterranean, different fats. You'll see when I do them. That will make enough for at least 8 portions, possibly 10 portions. I might squeeze 5 out of each one. In other words, that will be all my lunches for a week and a little beyond. If I want to have them every day, or I can put them in the freezer, do something else. But essentially these, plus some carrot, celery, I've got onions in the fridge, a bit of one of the spuds, other ingredients that are in the flat, including coconut milk, which I know isn't very European. I'll explain why in the recipe. Not explain why it's not European. We know it's not European. We don't grow coconuts. I wish we could. It's a substitute. So all my lunches for a week and more. So then for my main meals, I'm getting hungry. I'll get hungry thinking about all this. I'm going to do a curry with, you can't see them outside, that I'm slowly bringing the squash back from the garden. And they're piling up in the corner here. But I've actually got some squash from last year still. I think I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. One's fallen over. So I'm going to do a curry, which is going to be squash, chickpeas, some beans, maybe something else, not sure. But essentially, I've got all those ingredients already, grown in the garden for the most part. So I'll make a batch up that will do 4 portions, but I'll eat 2 this week, 2 in the freezer. Then obviously I've got the beetroot, so I'm going to, actually the amount of beetroot I got will probably yield about 6 patties, 6 burgers. So I will have that meal twice this week, and so I'll have 2 burgers for a meal. If I make 6 burgers, 2 can go in the freezer, and I'll have 2 on 2 separate occasions this week. And what I'm going to do when I do my curry, my squash curry, is reserve a bit of squash. I'll go for one of my really big butternuts, reserve some of the squash. Then when I'm having my beet burger night, I'll use a bit of one of the spuds, bit of squash. I'm going to mash them together. Yum, 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 yum. I'm also then going to steam some of the cavolo. So, I've just thought actually, right, I'll do that in a second. So I'll make myself a nice kind of big, a dollop of a combi potato and squash mash. Then I'll stack it up with some cavolo, boom, beet burger on the top, or I might put a beet burger underneath too. I'm getting hungry. So yeah, that kind of potato and squash mash, really, really, really yummy. That's quite sweet, and then you've got that kind of the slightly bitter of the cavolo nero to come through, and then of course the beet burgers with that hint of chili coming through them. That'd be really nice. So that will, those beetroots I've pulled today, bit of spud, bit of squash, bit of cavolo nero, that will be 2 meals this week, plus 2 of the burgers can go in the freezer for next week. Now it's winter, I like my stewy things, so I'll make a fasolada, good old fasolada, potato, carrots, tomatoes, which are now in the freezer, so I'll use some freezer tomatoes. I've got my gigantes beans, I've got some in the freezer, but I've also got dried versions. I'm going to use the freezer ones because I need to start making space in the freezer. That will yield, I'll make it, basically every time I make anything, whether it's soup, stew, casserole, curry, I make 4 portions. So with the fasolada, it's Greek bean stew essentially. 2 portions for during the week, 2 portions for the freezer. Then that leaves me with a 7th night that I haven't accounted for, but just when I was saying a minute ago about the potato and squash mash, and then the cavolo nero, what I could do is a kind of bubble and squeak. So I can chop the cavolo nero, chop it up, mix it in with that mash, make them into patties to fry off. So potato squash with cavolo nero patty, and then to serve with that, I'll make a tomato bean reductions. It's almost like baked beans, but it's not baked beans. So yeah, a tomato beanie saucy thing to have with those little fried off patties. What do you call bubble and squeak? I'm really looking forward to my food this week. Oh my goodness. Look, it's all really simple fare. Really, all pretty easy to make. A lot of the stuff I make is in a is a one pot wonder. I wonder, there's only one pot on the stove. Everything is going into one pot. Things like the beet burgers, yes, there are a couple of stages, but even they are, relatively simple to make. So look, if I hadn't bought the bread, take 180 off that, that would have been £2.4 on the vegetables. I should be able to grow £2. Look, in the past I've grown my own spuds, my own carrots, my own celery. This week's shop would have cost nothing. But, you can see from those meal ideas, and they're all based around what I've grown and already stored in the freezer, like tomatoes and beans, the squash which are coming home, some fresh pickings from the garden today. I'm going to eat really well, really beautifully for an entire week for a couple of quid. And it could have been for nothing if I'd grown these bits and bobs. But it's also that thing, isn't it, of, I know some of you are recently looking at some more meat-free meals. I think there's often that same thing that people wonder in terms of vegetarian food is like, well, when you take the meat off the plate and you're just left with some boiled cabbage and some sliced carrots and a boiled potato, it's not very appetizing, is it? No, of course it's not. You need to do stuff with the veg, make the veg the star, either in a curry or in a gorgeous hearty stew. I'm really salivating. You know what's making me salivate? It's the thought of the beet burgers and the potato squash mash and the cavolo nero. Yeah, it's really easy to just jazz up your veggies a little bit. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I hope that is of interest to folk. I hope it's useful. I think we were talking about this the other day, weren't we, with the squash recipes. I'm just looking at the things I've written down as my plan for the week. Those 3 main things, the curry, the beet burgers and the fasolada. I'm sure I've done a fasolada video. there you go, there's 3 more recipe videos for you. Oh no, 2 more, because you've already seen the squash chickpea curry. So 2 more recipe video ideas for you. I'll put them on the end of this video in the little cards. So when you click on those, it takes you into the recipe video. More ideas for lovely things to make with vegetables. And tomorrow, I'm going to get stuck in and make some different soups with this lovely lot. You see, it's amazing how quickly it wilts, which just goes to show, doesn't it? It's that thing of, if you can grow your own food, all the better, because in an ideal world, you bring it home and cook with it straight away before it's got a chance to lose its vigour. How long has something been on a shop shelf? You know what, I'm not knocking shop vegetables at all, because I know there are some of you who simply cannot grow your own because you don't even have a balcony, or you're physically not able to. I'm not knocking people who buy vegetables, of course I'm not. It'll be me one day. All right, lovelies, I'm now waffling. Was there anything else I wanted to mention today? No. That's it. We're good. It's chucking down. Also, on a quick serious note before we finish, I was mentioning I'd gone down to the plot post Storm Kieran. God knows, my heart, you know, I was saying this the other day, my heart goes out to people who've been flooded. The damage, I hadn't seen it straight away, I tuned into the news later on in the day, the damage, especially across the Channel Islands, France. I know some of you were in France. I think there were some fatalities in France, Holland, Belgium, Germany. Awful. I just hope the majority of you are okay, and any damage is stuff that can be repaired rather than damage to you. So I have been thinking of so many of you during this period. I thankfully got off scot-free, despite the fact that on the Wednesday night the wind on my dormer at the front and the creaking noises was terrifying. It was awful, but I'm okay, and the garden was okay, so I'm okay, thank you. Right, I need to start. I'm thinking about food. I'm going to start cooking. I know I said I wasn't because I can't stand it. I'll wait a little while and then I'm going to start cooking. And now I'm going to say cheerio, because it really is time to say, until the next one, cheerio.